As angelic as the youngest of the four Hellinger sisters looked, she wasn't twitched in hers.
She won't. You know she won't. She'll say she doesn't have any money either.
That was undoubtedly true. In fact, Sibi had only said it in hopes of placating her little sister until their mother returned. Thinking fast, Margaret had mostly outgrown tantrums, but not entirely. Sibi was just about to come out with an alternate suggestion when 13-year-old Louisa jumped in.
You know we're poor now, so stop being such a baby.
Cross because she hadn't been permitted to go to the cinema with a group of her friends, Louisa spoke sharply. The thick, straight, butterscotch blonde hair she'd chopped to chin-length herself the night before.
Nobody has long hair anymore,
she'd wailed in the face of their mother's horror, had already lost its grip on the rag curls she'd forced into it. She looked like she was wearing a thatch of broom straw on her head, but Sibi was far too good a sister and far too preoccupied at the moment to point that out.
I don't like being poor.
Margaret's lower lip quivered. None of us do.
I especially don't like...
Louisa cut her off.
You're whining. You know what Mama said about whining. I am not.
A match flared in the street. Tuning her sisters out, Sibi focused on what the brief incandescence revealed as it rose to light a cigarette, red tip glowing brightly, before arcing like a tiny shooting star to the ground. Sibi looked beyond the cigarette to the dark shape behind it. The dark shapes behind it. She wasn't mistaken. Soldiers. Their soldiers, the loyalist Republicans, their uniforms unmistakable, poured into the street from seemingly everywhere. And the numbers were increasing. Her heartbeat quickened. Does no one else see? Biting down on her lower lip, she glanced around. The crowd clapped and swayed to the rollicking music of the highly prized town band, and ate and danced and played games and... She concluded that no one else did. The village leaders who were present appeared unaware. Father Esteban talked to the woman behind the refreshment table as she ladled out a bowl of spicy fish soup for him. His Honor the Mayor played Moose, the popular card game, with 3 friends. The Count of Arana, the town's most prominent citizen, stood with his arms crossed and a stern gaze fixed on his 15-year-old daughter, Teresa, as she walked away from him with her hand tucked into the arm of Emilio Aguirre. Sibi's stomach gave an odd little flutter. Watching them reminded her of just how much of an outsider she was here in this quaint small town, with its red-roofed white houses and narrow cobbled streets. Emilio was her age. He was the handsomest boy in school, and he had been kind to her. She had hoped, but no. To hope for anything where he was concerned was foolishness. She and her mother and sisters were only temporary residents. She worked as a part-time waitress, and her mother had worked in a dress shop before being fired 3 weeks ago, when the shop owner's husband had displayed too much interest in her. And that, of course, had immediately become a topic for much discussion among the town gossips, whose gleeful suspicions that the former Marina Diaz, now Hellinger, who had come home with her children but without her husband, was a floozy, were thus seemingly confirmed. All those factors combined to put them near the bottom of the social ladder in this place where the wealthy local aristocracy had been comfortably in place for generations, and they, with their German father, would have been outsiders anyway. And Teresa was beautiful and rich and, well, there it was. Foolishness. She had no time for foolishness. Glancing at those in her own party, Louisa and Margaret, and their other sister Joanna, all bunched close around her, and their mother, Marina, dancing merrily with the baker, Antonio Bazzar, beneath the colored lights strung above the makeshift dance floor.